Alrighty, I am here today with Mr. Gary Beck. He is a resident here in Caloso. And Gary, would you mind to answer a few questions about your experience living here in Caloso?
I'd love to.
Okay, wonderful. So how long have you lived in this neighborhood and what made you choose it?
Well, I've lived here almost 3 years, and I chose it because of it's not as congested and noisy and full of people, and it has a quieter life, but it's not real quiet. It still has its own Mexican neighborhood noises and everything, but it's so close to Emiliano Zapata, which is the colonia with the romantic zone. I'm 1 block away from it. So I have all that access all the way in a short walk, like a 20-minute walk here to Insurgentes, which is where really the romantic zone starts going toward the bay. And this part is full of little shops and little restaurants, and you go along Lázaro Cárdenas, Emiliano Zapata, you go Achilles Cerdán, Francisco Madero, V. Carranza. They're all little family places. And I like this place because it's so full of nice little places out of the way. People don't know about them, but they're run by families, local families. And I like to support them as opposed to giving out to big American corporations.
Yes, I feel the same way. Has the neighborhood changed in the 3 years that you've lived here?
Not much, no. It really changed before I moved here because right across the street is the Rivera Quali condos. That was built before I moved here, and that is the one people might know about, that the Hurricane Lydia came through and it knocked into their property. The river just overflowed,
Right.
and they didn't have rock barriers, and it took the swimming pool right down into the Rio Quale and all of their beautiful gardens.
I remember
so
that.
they've been working on that for the last 3 years.
Right.
All the time I've been here, they put in a new pool and beautiful new gardens and a pergola that people can sit underneath and build up the rocks over on the river. Really, really high, big rocks. And they are sure that's going to keep any kind of huge storm from doing the damage it did before. And then they build a sister place, which is next door. It's called Oasis.
Yes, Oasis is
That's
a brand
their
new
sister,
development.
and
Yep, yes.
That was already 90% finished by the time I moved in. And they were building a pool too, so they have their own pool, and they have their own restaurant and beautiful gardens and a lot of gringos that bought there,
Yes.
and some Mexicans. It's not cheap, that's for sure.
It is expensive, yeah.
But the people that stay there seem to love it.
Oh,
And
I love
they're
that.
renting, they rent out places too there. So that has changed.
Yes, okay, wonderful. What would you say are the biggest misconceptions people have about this area, Caloso?
Well, we were just discussing that it's full of crime, and it's not at all. Maybe years ago, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was, but it's not now. And I feel it's much less crime here than even over in the romantic zone with the attacks I've heard on tours on Olas Altas and along the Malacan, you know, there and in parking lots. But here, there's not. There aren't people roaming around like out of place, and no gang members or homeless people that are like gonna attack you or anything. So that's a misconception.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. So I think it's safe to say you feel safe living here in Caloso.
Oh, I do, yes. And I'm also lucky because right across the street is the guardhouse for Rivera Quali condos.
Yes.
And they know me, and when I moved in here, I was quite sick and I could hardly walk. And so they always said, if you need any help, they're right there, and just yell out, peligro, or help, you know. And one of them speaks some English, but they can get me an ambulance if I need one.
Something
They can get me
happened.
a taxi if I need one. And so they're watching, you know, they have to watch the whole corner right here. So if they see something going on, I know that they would come out and protect me.
So
I'm lucky that way
it's
too.
a good community. Yeah, I love that.
I didn't realize it when I moved in, but I was so glad when I learned that they came over and offered to help me.
Oh, that's
And I
amazing.
got locked out one time, and they came over and jimmied the lock, and I think they're professionals, so they do all the work for the condos. and they got me in because my keys were in here.
Oh, no.
They got me in.
Yeah, but you did. Okay, wonderful. Can you describe the community atmosphere? Are people friendly and supportive? Well, you just kind of answered a little bit of that, but yeah, what would you say about the people that live back
I
here?
would like to mention because of my walking is not as good, and I'm slow-paced and getting quite elderly, that I have 3 Mexican women that are my girlfriends.
Oh,
They don't speak any
nice.
English.
Yep.
One lives on the corner here, and she's always watching me, and when I leave, she watches me to come back to make sure I get back okay. And then one's in the middle of the block, and she's always waving to me and calling to be careful. And then there's one at the top of the stairs going to the bridge. She sells clothing.
I've seen her. Yep.
And she sits there and she stands up when I come sometimes and says in Spanish, "Do you need help getting down the steps?" Because they're kind of steep, but I always say no. But I have my 3 little protectors.
Yeah. Oh, I love this for you here.
Oh, yeah.
That really is kind of cute. Well, you've kind of answered a little bit of this. What kind of amenities or conveniences are nearby, like shops, restaurants, parks, things like that?
Okay, well, we're blessed with some family places, a nice coffee shop, a grill that does chicken and pork.
Is that the Quack House Grill that just
Yes.
opened? And it's good. I haven't been
it's
by there yet, but yes, that's on my list.
Very good.
What do you recommend to eat there?
Well, the hamburgers they're known for.
Okay.
People, and they have, I think, like 10 different kinds of hamburgers. I get the Classico.
Okay.
And you just sit outside and wait for them to cook them and take them home, or you can sit there and eat. I go there because they're just 2 blocks away.
right there,
And
yeah.
I can just bring it back here and sit here and have and watch TV or whatever. But then across the street, which is just right behind me, is called La Fina.
Yes.
And that restaurant is really a top-notch restaurant.
I've been there.
I've done restaurant work in town and in San Francisco, and I rank it in the top 5 to 10 of the whole Bay Area.
What do you like to order from La Fina?
Every single thing on the menu. I've told people that came in the first time, I said, if you have any doubts, just point and say that's what I'll have.
And it's
Every
great.
single thing. I take lots of people
Me
there,
too.
different parties.
Yeah.
Never had one person say, "Oh, this is so-so."
Yep.
They always say, "This food is great." Now, it's a little pricier, but he always uses the top quality meats and vegetables, and all of his cooking is all done. He doesn't buy sauces, he makes all of his own sauces.
Wow.
His wife bakes the bread and bakes the rolls and the desserts. It's just a fantastic place, but they have like duck sopes and lamb quesadillas and, barbecued ribs, but they're nothing like what you have in other restaurants. It's kind of like he's taken the cuisine and he's taken it upon himself and made it more of a gourmet, but it's more of a classy kind of creative. And I would go with you, and you would just be enthralled.
It's delicious.
The food is so good, and the service is good. They're all family.
Yep.
It's mom and dad and a couple of the kids.
Yes.
And they live in the house there.
On the top. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I know all
Highly
of
recommend
those.
it for not even just people in Caloso. People come from the romantic zone, and they come from Centro to here.
Even all over Vallarta go
By the
there.
way, it's
Yes.
a reservation only too,
Yep.
and they open at 7:00 at night. Don't even. Well, you could go there, but you'll sit and wait for maybe an hour and a half for a table.
Wow.
So it's just call and make a reservation.
Yep. That's the best way.
Yes.
What is the best thing about living here that outsiders might not know?
That it's a friendly Mexican neighborhood. It's so wonderful. You get that feeling. You're around people that live here, and they know each other, and they cook together, and they have tables out front and sell tacos or something. You know, it's just very down home being in Mexico, as opposed to, I love the Rantic Zone, but you don't have that same kind of feeling. It's much more touristy.
Yes.
It's more polished, which is fine. But this is just a more the outskirts. Even though we're part of Puerto Vallarta,
Yep.
people say we're not in Puerto Vallarta. You're east of Puerto Vallarta, but no, this is Colonia Puerto Vallarta.
Yes.
And Las Canoas next door is another place that's very nice too, and it's very homey. And then Paso Ancho. Those are all colonias of Puerto Vallarta.
Yes.
And El Romance, where red cabbage is.
Yes.
And there's clinics for you for health, and there's fish stores that are fabulous. And maybe that's another question, but
No, that's what we're looking for. But these are all the things that you might not know if you have never been to Caloso. That's what I want. I want everybody to really understand what is the vibe from somebody that lives here, because you know all of the ins and outs of what this colonia has to offer.
Yes. Well, it's known by a lot of people because this is in Verno, and it goes all the way over to the river, and there's a bridge that goes across the Rio Quale into the northern part of Gringo Gulch.
Yep.
And also El Cerro. And people from there walk over the bridge and come down this street, and they walk over here to the markets, because there's up in that area there's mom and pop places, but over here they have huge markets that are full of fish and shrimp and all the vegetables and fruit you can imagine.
That's the Emiliano Zapata Mercado that you're mentioning,
Yes,
right over the
Mercado,
bridge. Yep.
Emiliano Zapata. And then on the
Correct.
corners of there are two big fruit and vegetable
Yes.
stores that are, they have mangoes, but they have like 5 different kinds of mangoes, you know. It's just really great. That's why a lot of people come this way to go to that Mercado. And all around the Mercado are shops and restaurants.
Yes, that's true. Let's see. Are there specific areas in the neighborhood that you think could be improved?
Well, I think it's true of Puerto Vallarta. I think more garbage collection would be really good. You see piles of it. Now, I have one in the corner over here, and they pick it up 6 to 7 times a week.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so every day the trash is being picked
7
up.
o'clock. You
Okay.
can't put it out before 7
Yep.
o'clock. But they are always pulling that out. But then there are other little spots where people just throw garbage, and it's not on their route, so they don't pick it up. So
Okay.
I know the mayor is working on that, though, for all of that.
So we could even maybe get with, and this is just me talking out loud, but with the urban planning, and even go with AMPI and maybe see if we could do some trash collection that would be back here like once a month, because I know they do that in other parts of town.
Well,
so that might be worth it to try to see if we can get some volunteers to come out here.
Yeah, in El Caloso, but just right across the bridge here into Emiliano Zapata, they had that going on for about 2 weeks.
Yes.
Of volunteers. There were Mexicans and Americans and Canadians, and they had big black bags.
Yep.
And they went along the river on both sides and picked up tires, clothes, toys, toilets and things, brought it all to the edge, and they bagged everything up, and then later they came with these huge trucks and took it all away. So that was part of they had that all over Facebook.
So we'll have to see if we can do the same thing here in Caloso.
Yes.
I would love to head something like that
I
up.
think they would do it because
I do too.
They were adamant. They were having a good time too. There were like at least 20 people when I walked by,
Oh,
just working away.
okay. So do you see the local authorities or community groups taking action to improve the area?
No, not really. I hardly ever see a policeman here.
Okay.
I really
Well, then that
don't.
says something really good
Well,
about the
there's-
safety
if
back
there were
here
crime,
then.
there would be
That's
police
right.
around.
Yeah.
I see a police car come by once in a while, but I think they're more like on a patrol.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like, oh, somebody just got shot
Something
or anything.
just
We don't
happened.
have anything like that here. We don't have any kind of violence like being a woman being abused or anything, or attacked, or so they'd be around if that were the case.
Right.
So not seeing them around is a good sign, and I'm sure if there were a problem, they would be here.
100% on that. Let's see. What time of day or week do you feel that the neighborhood is the most vibrant and lively?
Well, probably toward the evening when people get home from work.
Okay.
These are working class people. You know, they all have jobs, and some of them have 2 jobs, and some of them have a husband and wife working, and the kids are taken care of by grandma or somebody. But there's a lot of working, and they're not getting huge amounts of salaries. But some of them are good. They're carpenters and they're auto repairmen, you know. So when they get home from work, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock after dinner, they might feel more, get together with their friends, which are neighbors, and maybe across the street, some neighbors that they know, and get together. But it's not a wild party crazy thing at all.
Okay.
No.
You just
not
see more people in the community at that
Yes.
hour. Okay. Let's see here. How do you feel about the new developments, like the one that I was just mentioning, cacti coming back here into Caloso?
I think it's good as long as there's not 10,000 more people come into the colonia.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen. But
I don't either.
With these two condos complexes that were built, we haven't had any repercussions from too many people or anything. And they're quiet, and they've got their own garages, and they've got guards that let them in and out. It's not just a walk-through kind of thing. They're very protective of their property.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that's really great. Do you think that the property values in the area have potential to grow?
Oh, definitely, most definitely, yes. This place has grown since she built it, and I think she built it about like 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So for sure in
yeah,
8 years.
Yeah, she made a very good decision. This was an empty lot that I'm sitting on right now. And it sat here vacant, and I've seen pictures of it on Google Maps.
Yep.
I've seen pictures of it, and I look at it and said, that's where I live right there. And it was just full of weeds and trash, and whoever owned it didn't do anything at all. So she bought it probably at a good price.
Yes.
And built this 2-story. And she owns the one on the corner, which is 2 stories.
Okay.
So she's doing just fine.
Oh, wonderful.
And I think more of that's going to happen.
I believe you.
And at the end of the block here, toward the bridge, is a newer building too. I don't know what they're doing in there, but it's a 2-story
I'll have to look at that.
building, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be rentals. I don't know what they're doing.
That's going to be
very
interesting.
strange.
Yeah, I'll have to go check out that and see what's
The
happening
door's
there.
always locked.
Let's see. Is the neighborhood convenient for public transportation or commuting?
Now, see, I don't take buses, so I can't help you with that.
Okay.
But I do know there is a bus that comes from El Caloso and Las Canoas, and it comes right over here to the bridge.
Okay, yep.
Right over here.
I think I have seen that before too.
Yeah, it's got a number on it.
Yep.
I don't know. But there are people that cluster on the part before the bridge starts.
Okay.
And they're all standing and talking to each other, and like 6, 8, 10 of them, and they all get on the bus.
Yep.
And that takes them right down into the romantic zone where some of them probably have jobs. Then it goes to Insurgentes, and that goes across the river into El Centro.
Okay.
And all the way to all those places.
So
those
that's really
restaurants.
great. Yeah, you're just catching it from here, from the
Yes.
bridge, and you're getting into
And
the
they come
proper
back-
town,
come
part of
back on
town.
Vallarta, and it comes back up this way. So that's how they get to work. They commute to work.
Okay.
They're workers. They're
Yeah, right.
And some of them are shopping, but most of them look like they're going
They're
to
going
work.
to
and
work.
coming back. So that's good. You'd have to check with the city on the times, the schedule.
Okay, and where do you see this neighborhood in 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think it's growing, like you said, about people coming in and building and renovating, and they're taking over some of the lots and building on these bare, discarded lots, stripping them out, and they're going to be building. I think there's a sense around here that something's coming, and let's get in now.
Yes.
And get it built. And some of them are building it themselves at a lower price, but I think they see a growth in value. And they want their family to be here and be comfortable. Some of them have like 6, 7, 8 and living in one house,
Wow.
So it's going to be really growing in a good sense.
I 100%
And there's
believe
a
you.
nice playground over here that the kids love a lot. It's a little plaza for the colonia, and they have entertainment over there once in a while. You hear a girl singing, and they have a guitar playing, and they have some speakers that have
nice.
pre-made music, and the church is right in the corner, and they have events for their saints and their holidays, and they also serve food, and they have a good one coming up that I just found out about, which I hope they publicize on the media. It's toys for the children.
Oh, I
It's
would love
for-
to get involved
it's
with
for
that.
Christmas.
Okay, yeah.
It's not Christmas Day. It's like 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas.
Okay.
They want every child to have at least one gift. All of the neighborhood. They're not coming from over here. They're all the neighborhood kids.
Yeah.
And most of them go to that church.
So if I were to go to the church, I could probably find out more
Yes.
information. Okay.
Find a woman there because
Yep.
they
Okay.
have inside they have a courtyard that's
Yep.
fenced in, and inside they have where the gifts go, and the children have a piñata and they play, and then they have food. The women
Okay.
all make these big pots of food.
Yeah.
Good old Mexican food.
Traditional Mexican
like
food,
pozole
yeah.
and big pots of, and they make huge tacos and things.
Okay.
And so it's an event, and it's sometime coming up before Christmas. So I think it's a wonderful thing that they're doing.
And I want to get involved with that for sure. I want to get involved with that.
That'd be great.
Let's see. What would you say to someone who's considering moving here but is hesitant?
Well, it depends on what you're leading, because if you want to get away from all the noise and clutter and you just walk through these areas of Vallarta, just huge condos going up on every street corner, people complain about that a lot.
Yes.
It's just getting too much, and they're thinking, oh, this was my dream place, and now it's becoming a Hollywood or a Hawaii or something.
Romantic zone, you mean?
Yeah,
right?
Well,
yeah.
More than that, all through El Centro, and it's spread all over
That
the
is
marina.
true. Yes.
It's all changing, and we know people are coming because they love Vallarta. They come here once, like me, in 1979, and come back every year.
Yes.
And then I worked from part-time for many years, and up to 5 months a year, and 7 months in San Francisco, California. And then in '05, I bought a condo over on Jacarandas in Emiliano Zapata.
Okay.
And lived there for 20 years, and then I moved over here because this is right level with the street, and I had 52 steps to my condo there, and it was very hard for me, and you can't carry groceries, and
right.
And so
it's all flat back here in Caloso for the most part. Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And the final question would be, what advice would you give to someone new to the neighborhood?
Come over and walk around. They always say you should check out places. Just walk around day and night and just get the feel of it. Just don't put money down and buy a place, but come in here and check it out, and maybe see someone that walking by that says hello, and just say, do you live here and what do you think? And just get different ideas. And go to a couple of the cafes that are in town here in our colonia, and just sit down there. And a lot of people come in and out, and they're very friendly.
Oh, I love
They're
that.
in for a smoothie or a cappuccino or a latte, and just sort of hanging out. And those are good people to talk to and say, how long you been here, just like me,
Right.
And I did the same thing. And what do you like about it, and where do you go? And you learn things. You find out where the best place for me to get a haircut, which is just like 3 blocks down.
Okay, let me ask you, what do you pay for your haircut?
100 pesos.
Which is $5 US, yes.
But I give her a tip too.
This is why we're here.
She's so sweet. I know what time she
100%.
opens, and I'm the first one in, because if you go like a couple hours later, there's women all into those suits.
Underneath, yeah.
Oh my goodness, and they take for hours
Yeah.
with their hair.
100 pesos, $5. Yep, it's amazing. That's why we live here. I mean, it really is, yeah.
Well, I live here because I love Puerto Vallarta. I don't worry about the money. I know it's a bargain.
Yeah.
And I don't mind paying a little more at a restaurant, which is a lot less than what I paid in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a friend come from New York, and they talk about having a burger and fries and a Coke and a dessert for $100 US.
Even to go to the movies now in the States is like $100 for a family of 3
And
these
here
days.
they come here and they just laugh and they say, it's expensive, but boy, it's about a tenth what I'm paying in New York.
That's right.
Or San Francisco or LA.
Yes.
Chicago. So it's a bargain. And I hate to have people complain about prices going up, because it's inflation. It's all over the world.
Yes, it
But
is.
corn goes up in price, even tortillas go up in price,
Yeah, the totopos, when I first moved here, I think they were 20 pesos, and now they're 30.
Yeah.
So it's happened here even, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's not as bad as what it would be in the States, but still, I mean, it's, that's 50% of the price
Another
from
thing
when
I
it
want
was
to
when I
mention
moved.
too is the part of living here. It's being a little Mexican community along the street, and I live on the first floor, so people are walking along the sidewalk, and they come by selling things, and they sell like honey from the farm that's over nearby. They sell mangoes, avocados, bananas, so they just have a bag of them, and they're carrying all this stuff,
Yeah.
and you want to buy something from them, and it's a fairly good price, you know,
Yeah.
and to give the family a little help. Some of them are young children
I
too.
love that. So what would you say a bag of avocados cost? How many avocados do you typically get, and what do you pay for that?
Oh dear. Well, I got a bag of avocados for 80 pesos. It was a really good bargain.
$4.
Yes.
I think that's the price of one avocado in the U.S.
Yes,
And I'm not
I
exaggerating.
think-
They're very
I think
expensive.
there were 8 in the bag.
8
It was a
for
special.
$4.
That
Yeah.
was the last one. I have a personal assistant, and he does the shopping, and,
Yeah.
and he's a chef, so he knows where to go and where to get the best price and quality too.
Right.
And he got those, and he came back, and he's all happy that he just got these avocados, and he
Yeah.
cut one open, and it was delicious, you know.
Nice and creamy, not watery like what you get in the States,
Not
because they.
hard.
Yep.
Or
Exactly.
sometimes they're rotten inside. You
Yeah,
don't even
these
know
are
it.
perfect, right? Well, thank you so much for your time, for
Sure.
allowing me to come into your beautiful home, and for all of your opinions and your viewpoints on Caloso. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad to do it. If you need any more questions, come back.
I definitely will.
I'll
Thank
be
you
here.
so much.
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.